Let's be honest here. I used to like this movie since I saw this in theaters in 2012, but after 13 years later, oh my god, oh my sitch, this film did not age well. The second bad Elimination movie since Hop. That is so pathetic. Oh my lord, what do I have to begin about this? Elimination, are you telling me that you kind of follow the material of the TV special that came out in 1972, which has been a year that came out, and the Rotten Tomato rating on this, it got way better than the one that we got in 2012. So you was doing a little good job to follow the source material. But this movie went downhill since you wanna put a musical number in the movie. Disrespectful elimination, and this is a huge spin in the face to Dr. Seuss' legacy, which even I am glad they did not always disrespect because they have that special tribute, which is a beautiful tribute for Dr. Seuss. But that's not saying a lot because this film is absolutely atrocity. Hello, fellas, what the sitch? My name is Nick Hicks, Studio Lounge Hill, and I say sitch, not the S word. Don't get confused, everyone. So tonight, I'm about to do a rant for Universal Month, which is other than Dr. Seuss the Lorax. Let's get to it. It's rant time. I just don't feel like raging, and I'll get to my ragement on the worst character in this movie. I'll get to him in a minute. Right? Anyway, guys, so let's get started. So I do remember watching this movie in theaters, and I used to like this movie since I saw this in theaters in 2012, and I said, you know what, this film was really great. It's really fantastic. But what do I think? What do I think about this movie now? Oh my sitch, this film did not age well at all. And this film is not a star. And yes, I just copied a line by Starboy, and I hope he don't mind it. Yeah, this film was absolutely atrocity. Oh my lord. Do you remember that people said that The Cat in the Hat 2003 is the worst thing that came out for Dr. Seuss adaptation? Well, this is a hot take. I enjoyed The Cat in the Hat 2003 more than this piece of crap. Yeah, I gotta say, Dr. Seuss the Lorax have beat the Cat in the Hat 2003, and that film is no longer as a bad movie and as hilarious bad movie. That film was great. I do not care what the critics said because the critic is just being overhated these days. Anyway, yeah, this film just makes me want to apologize to Mike Myers' Cat in the Hat movie because that film was not even that bad to begin with. And yes, I used to trash on that movie since it came out, but ever since I watched that film with my brother Chris, and yeah, if you want more detail about why I think Cat in the Hat 2003 is an underrated gem, guys, just check out my review of it. It's pretty awesome. It's way better than my original opinion. Done it? Yeah, I gotta say, but the Cat in the Hat, oh shoot. I like the movie. I gotta say, Dr. Seuss the Lorax, it has got to be one of the worst Dr. Seuss movie I have ever seen in my life. I cannot believe why in the sitch that Elimination screwed this movie up. You have the soap material right here. Why in the sitch that you made this film into a Disney movie? Why? It's because this film has a musical number, and I'll get to it in a minute. Yeah, before I get to my arrangement, do I have any good thing about this movie? Yes, I do. let's get to it. So one of my favorite characters in this movie, and I'm gonna look it up right now, which other than this character right here, Audrey. She has got to be one of my I won't say it's my favorite performance by Taylor Swift, but like I said, she might be one of my top five favorite female character crush I ever seen for Elimination. Even I think Princess Peach is way more beautiful than Audrey, and I gotta watch my mouth because I have no idea how old Audrey is. Which I'm gonna be thinking she might be 18 or 19, but if it's 20, we're good. But if it's 15, oh my lord, I gotta watch my mouth. I gotta watch my mouth. Gotta watch my mouth. Mouth next time. Yeah. Yeah, I gotta say, that is the only character, including the Lorax, is the only good character I like in the entire movies, honestly. And including Granny, because I don't think Granny is annoying. And when we read the research, so, here you go. That's you. Yeah, that's the main reason why I thought Audrey kissed Ted. And I don't ship them one bit, which is really heartbreaking, and honestly, I was just saying that's a fact. So that's the only character, including the Lorax, that is the only character, at least they did not screw up. In the animation, for a Dr. Seuss movie, this has got to be one of the most beautiful animation for a bad movie. Even this film is really atrocity, but I do admit, the animation is really breathtaking, it's really colorful, which, honestly, that's not enough, honestly, to make this film good. Just because you have a colorful animation, that doesn't mean this film is awesome. No, this film was awful, man. Oh my god, this film was awful. And of course, the voice acting. The voice acting was top notch, honestly. Like Zac Efron, Taylor Swift, Ed Home, Barry White, Wild Roger, and of course, Janie Swing. And of course, Dana DeVito. Well, even I don't like Zac Efron as Ted and Ed Home as the Onslaught, but like I said, their performers did pretty well, honestly, and they did a well done job with the performance, honestly, and acting at the same time. And of course, the only good song I like in the Time movie, which is another Let It Grow, not Let It Go from Frozen. That's different. No, I'm talking about Let It Grow. Which version I think is better? Well, I think the end credit version is much better because that's my kind of catchy, and I'll listen to that song on every year for Earth Day because that is a puppet song that you that is a puppet elimination song that you can just like that that you can listen to for Earth Day. And the last pros I can give for this movie, at least they did not all disrespect Dr. Seuss. Even you made this film as a musical number, which is really disrespectful. But when you look at this, it make me give a kind of apology, kind of respect, not all the way, but a little respect, not all the way, just respect, must have said. Yeah, let me read. Sorry. Let me read it. Let me read it, must have said. Unless someone like you care a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. Wrote by Dr. Seuss. This is why Dr. Seuss is so legendary, and he may rest in peace. And yeah, I can't believe he died years ago. Yeah, once again, he may rest in peace. And I hope his book don't go into this thing, or else that would be really bad for Dr. Seuss' legacy. And that's all my pros. Yeah, that was it. That was the only it. Audrey, Lorax, animation, Let It Grow. And of course, the tribute of the end of the movie was the end of my pros. The rest, let's get to it, and I am not happy. Okay, first off, before I'll get to my complaint about the story, I have one simple question for elimination. Why on earth that you made this film into a unnecessary musical number? No joke. When I was watching this movie and when I was watching the opening of Welcome to Theville, and oh my god, that song made my ears bleed. Yeah, that song called Welcome to Theville, it's a brand new town. Stop it. Oh my god, that song is annoying. And yeah, I had to smack my head, and I'll be saying that in John Wick watching his buddy episodes, and I might say that to Brutal Fan live stream on Sunday for May the 4th, and yeah. If you want more detail about this movie, yeah, get ready for my a lot of arrangement on John Wick was in his buddy episodes at the end of the month, and of course, Brutal Fan on Sunday for this live stream. I thought it was Wednesday, but it was on Sunday, so I'm so glad. Yeah, yeah, that opening of the song just made the film terrible, and thankfully the animation completely saved it. Well, kind of, but even this film has some beautiful animation. But oh my lord, the opening was the worst aspect about the movie, and I was not ready for this movie because after the Lorax was completely narrator, and I gotta said, I was like, you know what, this film would not be as bad. I mean, has half bad honestly. But when you go to Devo's song, this is when this film was going down in the freaking toilet because nobody wants to see the elimination movie that have the opening song of the entire movie. Dude, it's like having a Despicable Me movie, and when you put that film as a musical number, which I think is unnecessary, which I would be good at the same time because at least Despicable Me is a lot better than Lorax, honestly. And Lady Manny Gamey will definitely agree with me. And if I say your name wrong, my apology because I am terrible at pronouncing people's name, and I hope you prove my point. But anyway, yeah, why on the sitch that you made this film as a musical number? Like, what the sitch am I watching? Am I watching a Elimination movie or am I watching a generic Disney film? And that's how bad it is. That's stupid. Yeah. And honestly, what about the story? Well, the story was stupid. Yeah, they did not even follow the source material. And yeah, sure, they kind of followed the source material, but that's not the main story. You want to know what the main story in this movie? You want to know? You want to know? That's right. It's about Ted wanting to marry Audrey by giving her a seed for the tree. Okay, first you made this film as a musical novel, which is really bad enough. And now are you telling me that you want this film to be as a generic Disney film that has some momentum on it? I would have watched The Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, and of course, what else? Aladdin, and I would have watched the Frozen duology instead of watching a minute about a movie about Ted wanting to marry Audrey. The main story should have been the original source material, not the main story about Ted wanting to do something to that woman. Okay, that was really inappropriate. So, yeah, we're just going to forget that. Honestly, what about the characters? Well, Audrey and Granny, and of course Lorax was the only good character I like in the movie, but the rest of the character are really dreadful, especially for Ted, voiced by Zac Efron. Yeah, his character in this movie, it make me want to apologize to Fred Jones from the most underrated movie that came out in 2020 and one of my favorite animated film that came out in 2020. Yup, I think it's even better than Trouble Tour, which another scoop. Scooby-Doo! Yeah, I gotta say, who agreed that Fred Jones from the Scoob movie and Zac Efron's character in The Greatest Showman, which that film was peak, and which is way better than him as Ted, honestly. And even this film came way before Ted, but I gotta say, Ted from the movie by Seth MacFarlane is way better than this movie, and that's a fact, because those two films made by Universal, so that's a fair comparison. Even a film that have nothing in comparison, because those two films made by Universal, and that's that. So that's it. Yeah, I did not like Ted in this movie, because Ted, it just feel like a generic Prince character, by Mary Audrey. I do not want to see a Lorax movie to be as a Disney movie. I would watch the Frozen duology instead of watching this movie right there, because every single time they do something like a romantic storyline for a main story, yeah, this film is all over the place. Yeah, this is the very first Elimination film I was having trouble about the story. Because first you have the source material. I was like, okay, we're going back to source material. And of course, you're going to the next scene. I was like, okay. Okay, we're going to go to the romantic storyline. No. We gotta go back to source material. Elimination, make up your mind, dude. Make up your mind. Do it. Absolutely no excuse. You made this film into a into, ready? Into a messy story. There's absolutely no excuse. Because first you want to go to soap material, and I was like, you know what? Let's go to romantic. Okay, we're gonna go back to romantic. Okay, we'll go with the dream sequence of the Audrey birthday and kissing. Okay, we're gonna go. Okay, we're gonna get to the next scene. Okay, what about the game? Oh my God, elimination. Stop making your story messy. And quit making your story as lazy. It's lazy writing, not cheap and lazy. It's lazy writing much. Yeah, I did not like the story in this movie. Yeah, the story in this movie was completely messy. It's all over the place. And yeah, I did not like it. Yeah, this is the very first elimination film I was having trouble about the story. Like, I have not got trouble about the story. I gotta say, the story from Soul the Drama, which is Kim Possible, and every story from Kim Possible is a much better story than the Lorax. Because at least Kim Possible, at least the story from Kim Possible is not messy. And yeah, sure, you got the dragon storyline, and of course you got the main storyline about Kim wanting to beat Dragon and Shigo. Even those two have nothing in common. But I was just saying, the story from Kim Possible is not messy, but this film was completely messy. It's all over the place, and I did not like the story, so let's get to the next one. And let's finish the character. I did not like Ed Home as a one-star because he just felt like a model audience characters. Are you telling me that you made a character who is beloved, and now are you telling me that you made him into a rock star and model audience? Ed Home, I'm not trying to hate on you, man, but you have a bad cine. I'm sorry, you have the best cine. Oh my Lord, I do not want to insult people like that. But his cine in this film was completely awful. And of course his of course his son, I'll get to that in a minute, honestly. And why on earth that Fangirl is having a crush on the Onesworth? Fangirl, for the living God, you deserve a better male character, like Unstoppable. Who agreed that Unstoppable is a much better attractive for Fangirl more than the Onesworth? Okay, we got Kristoff, which is really understandable because some Fangirl really love Kristoff, and I do not care what Alex say. Yeah, Alex, fuck himself. And of course, you got Unstoppable, which is Kim's boyfriend, and I gotta say, Unstoppable is much better than the Onesworth. And when you ask the Fangirl, who is your favorite and most attractive male characters, you're gonna say, the Onesworth? The Onesworth. The same guy that he destroyed the forest, betrayed the animal, and betrayed the Lorax. He was helping him out at first, but not until his family came and they completely ruined Lorax's life. You fell in love with this character who betrayed the character in this movie? Fangirl, you're messed up. You're messed up in the head, and you're out of your mind. And I'll show that Rotten Tomato rating after I talk about bad thing about this movie. And what about Ted's mom? Yeah, Ted's mom was annoying. I did not like her in this movie. And of course her dancing is cringing. It was just as cringing as Dan Sober dancing, Alex dancing, and Amanda dancing. And even Ben dancing, don't forget that. Yeah, it's even cringing than those four YouTubers. Three. 2 or 3, I don't know. Yeah, her dancing go like this. Do 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 do. Come on, Ted. I'm sorry. Come on, Ted. Come on, Ted. Have a dance. No, how about not? I would have sat down and do my stuff instead of dancing with you with that robot tree. And I gotta said, why on earth that the town hate trees? You gotta have trees. And Deville is the worst town I ever seen in my life. Because the town is just feel like a generic model audience town about a electric car. And of course you got a robot tree. You gotta have a real tree. And saying that having a real tree is yucky and nasty, well, when I touch the tree, I'm gonna tell Elimination a liar. Because this film is a liar, and this film is not true at all. Because the tree in my area are soft and really fuzzy. And there was one scene in the film I was completely mad at Mr. O'Hare, which is other than my favorite character in this movie is Audrey came back with her painting, and guess what? And guess what Devo did? That's right, they completely ruined her art. That is just as bad as this is just as bad as Alex, aka 12 Beta Cafe 2001, completely ruined everybody's art. And you better freaking not ruin my art the same way as this movie, or else I'll be mad. Or else I'll be upset just like Audrey. And honestly, I feel bad for Audrey in this film. I feel bad for Audrey. No, not Aubrey, which is which is the girl that I hang out on Easter party. I'm not talking about her. I'm talking about Audrey in this film, not Aubrey. Audrey. Those are different, honestly. Yeah, I feel bad for Taylor Swift as Audrey. Yeah, I feel bad for this girl because her dream is she want a tree, and Deville is a very evil town. They have security camera, and I did not like that town. And I gotta said, who agreed that Middleton from Kim Possible is a much better town than Deville? At least Middleton, aka Kim Possible area, at least that town is not mean spirit. But Deville, it is just as mean spirit as the town from Chicken Little, honestly, for God's sakes. And what about the villain in this movie? Oh God, we're gonna get to that right now. One of the worst characters in this movie and make me want to hate this film so much, which is none than this villain right here. Screw this villain in the A. This has got to be one of the worst Rumination villain I have ever seen in my life. And though this villain seems similar, oh I know, because of the fact that Rumination completely ripped this villain into Lloyd Farquaad in the mode. Are you telling me, Rumination? Are you telling me you rip off a character from the Shrek movie and Incredibles movies? And I just said, who agreed that Lloyd Farquaad in NMO is a much better little character more than Mr. O'Hare? And why would you? Sorry, man, this has got to be one of the worst performances that you did in your entire life. And I gotta said, his performance as a police officers in the Hanover are much better than his character in this movie right here. Because this is the main reason why he just made Deville as a greedy town and care about ale, honestly. Who in a right mind want to say some ale, honestly? Selling some ale is kind of remind me of that gamer girl want to sell her bathwater. You know what? Let's continue for this movie before I get grossed out, because I cannot believe that chick completely selling her bathwater. You know what? You know what? Talk about this movie right now. Yeah, I do not like this character in this movie. This character is a a-hole. This character is stupid. And this character is absolutely mean-spirited. Especially when you have the scene right here that he was saying something to Ted. Oh my God. I did not like that scene. Let's get that out of my face. Thank you very much. Yeah, I did not like that scene. That scene was completely mean-spirited. And like I said, this film is even more mean-spirited than Chicken Little. And this film making me want to apologize Chicken Little, honestly, at this point. And of course, there was the one scene in this film, and I was completely mad even more at him. Which and then there was the one scene in this film when he told Ted's mom, said, get downstairs. And Ted's mom completely stand up and telling Mr. O'Hare to get downstairs. Yeah, don't ever disrespect the Ted's mom. Even I don't like her dancing, even I don't like her character. That is the only good thing that she did right in this movie. Because you should not be messing with Ted's moms. And I just said, Ted's mom is way more tolerable than Mr. O'Hare, honestly. And I am so glad that he got what he deserved. Especially when the guard completely let Mr. O'Hare fly away after he made a song called Let It Die. Let It Die? You have got to be kidding me. That is the type of song that Alec was singing, God's sakes. You know what? I am done talking about this character, and that character should, Honestly, I don't want to say that character go in the dumpster fire because that would be very heartless. But like I said, but that character deserves go in the garbage can and stay there forever. Good day, sir. And what about the soundtrack in this movie? Well, the soundtrack in this movie was butt cheek. Yeah, the song in this movie was butt cheeks. But the only good song I like for this movie was Let It Grow. But all the songs like Devil and Everybody Needs to Sneeze, and of course, How Bad Can I Be? Did not like every song in this movie. And of course, you got the one song called Oh Hell, El Jungle. Who wrote this song? I do not want to listen a song about Oh Hell, Ale. And who in the right mind want to say some ale instead of trees? I gotta say, saying tree is understandable. But are you telling me that you want to say some ale instead of the tree? I gotta say, Mr. O'Hare is a cheapskate as much as Mr. Krabs. And that's a fact. Yeah, the soundtrack in this movie is absolutely horrendous. Well, even I like Let It Grow, but just because you have one of the best songs in the entire movie, that doesn't mean the soundtrack is safe. No, the soundtrack is all over the place. You got Devil, which is the worst way to open up the movie, and of course you got How Bad Can I Be, which is really generic rock song that you play. It's like that you can play on the radio, and of course you got Everybody Needs Some Sneeze. Oh my god, when I heard this song, while I was rewatching this movie, I was completely turned my volume down because that's how bad that song is, honestly, and I did not like that song one bit. Well, even I like the casting in this movie, but the character that they'll play was completely atrocity. Well, even I like Audrey, Grammy, and of course the Lorax, but Mr. O'Hare and Ted's mom and Ted himself was completely all over the place. And of course, of course, the ones were parent. I did not like the ones were parent. Yeah, the ones were parent was completely dreadful parent. Like they're on the story. Of course, you got the aunt. You got the uncle, and of course, you got the aunt. I did not like the aunt in this movie. The aunt in this movie was completely mean-spirited. Especially there was a one scene in the film that the aunt throw Lorax like a freaking football. Say, have a nice day, and Lorax go, ah. And even I don't like that scene, but that would be me doing that to brainstorm. And that's a fact. And I'm very sorry I was being heartless, but I don't care because these two completely kicked me off and I'm sick of it. And once again, this film got a 53% on Rotten Tomatoes for the critic, and this film got a 63% for the audience, and this film got a 6.4 out of 10 on IMDb. And sad news is, this film was a box office success. Are you telling me that you made this film into a musical number, but yet you made this film into a box office success? Really? Dr. Seuss was a box office success. It was grossed over $351 million worldwide, aging at a budget of $70 million. The film opening weekend alone earned $70.7 million, making it the sixth highest grossing of all time for animated film. Come on, box office. This film is not that good. What about the bad thing about this movie? What about Mr. O'Hare? What about Devil animation? Oh, I know. What about the soundtrack? Okay, what about the main story about Ted wanting to do something to that woman? Really? A commercial excess. Commercial excess in my butt. So, yeah. I'm done talking about this movie. Yeah, this film is not gonna get better every time we rewatch the movie. More I think about this movie, more I just think this film is even worse than I think it was. Yeah. And the climax was anti-climax. Well, you know what? Scratch that. I enjoy the climax. At least the climax completely made this film kind of dark on the story. And the ending was very sweet, especially when the older version of the Wandsworth and the Lorax was hugging and walk away. And of course, you got that special tribute right here. But that's not saying a lot because the fact that the Lorax is completely atrocity, and I am so glad that this film is the most forgotten elimination movie ever. So overall, guys, Dr. Seuss the Lorax, it has got to be one of the worst movie from Dr. Seuss movie. Well, even I like the animation of the forest and Audrey and Grammy and the Lorax himself, and even the Let It Grow from the end credit in the original version, and of course, the acting was really top notch. But still, this film has some messy story, some unlikable character. The villain was completely a-hole, and especially Deville was a very bad, evil town about care about air more than trees, honestly. And the main reason why that Mr. O'Hare said he's not getting tree for the town, which another is very yucky and nasty, which there's absolutely no excuse that you want to say some L more than tree. That is disrespectful, and that is a huge spin in the face to the forest. Yeah, screw this movie and Elimination. God bless you. So I'm gonna give Dr. Seuss the Lorax. What rating should I give this movie? Doing to in 2025. Sorry guys, I was just trying to find some rating. Okay. Trying to think here real quick. Here. Alright. You know what? I might be too nice on this movie. Yeah, I might give this film a 4 out of 10. It's a bad film. Or bad movie, whatever call it. And nice try, Elimination. This film is definitely deserve a seal of Nick Hick Studio Lounge garbage. And this film deserves like a fist. Yeah, there's absolutely no excuse. You made this film into a musical number, and I was so mad. Yeah, this is the second time that Elimination made a bad movies. First it was Hop, and now this. Do better. So, fellas, that was my movie rant on Dr. Seuss the Lorax. I'm very sorry, and my apology that I made this rant pretty late because I was just getting bored, and I was like, you know what? Let's rant on this movie. And if I have too many stuttering, guys, just deal with it. It's my YouTube channel. I can do whatever I want. So, and I hope you understand. So, yeah. So, what next Universal movie I will review on? Oh, yeah, I gotta do a Twister 2022 review. So, that will be something positive. So, stay tuned for my next Universal month review, which is than Twister 2022, which is my favorite country movie of all time. And that film, it make me wanted to put on some Toby Keith country music, doing the tornado in the country road. And rest in peace to Toby Keith, by the way. Yeah, it's been 1 year since Toby Keith died, and yeah, it's very sad on the same. People don't be happy, or else it make you as a Jack A. Yeah, I say Jack A, not the actual A word. That would be stupid. Anyway, guys, so this is Nick Hick Studio Lounge signing off, and thank God, after 7 years later, after we got the Lorax back in 2012, I am so glad that Elimination have stepped up the right direction by giving us Despicable Beef 2. Thank freaking goodness we got the best Despicable Me movie next to the fourth one.